Hi, my name is Treasure Farmer and this is for KN530 or Current Topics in Kinesiology. This assignment title is Exercises for Bilateral Knee Osteoarthritis.
My participant this evening is my mother, who is going to be going through the knee exercises with me.
The goal for this exercise program was to make it easy to do at home, so you don't need access to a gym or all the fancy equipment that there is out there nowadays. I'm not saying those are bad to use because they're great tools to have, but my goal for this was to make it easy so that you can do it in the comfort of your own home with very limited tools and still get the benefits of the exercise.
The first exercises that we'll be focusing on is directed towards the left leg, which is the knee that has not undergone surgery thus far. So our main focus is more on flexibility and range of motion rather than strengthening right now because the surgery is to come. So as we step up, we're leading with the left leg. So this is activating the glutes, the hamstrings, the hips, kind of incorporating everything into one. You can go I recommend to go a slow, controlled pace just because this knee isn't bending very well for her. The second exercise we will be doing is called a short arc quad. Again, focus on that left leg. If you have a chair that kind of has a dip in it, I recommend putting a pillow behind to keep your posture nice and tall. And all that's going to happen is she's going to slowly kick out her left leg and bring it back. No resistance with this because of the limited range of motion in that left knee. So this is really focusing on that quad muscle and a little bit of strengthening in that. The third exercise is heel slides, and all you're going to do is place something that slides relatively easy underneath the foot of the left leg, and you're just going to really focus on that range of motion with the knee and see how far we can stretch it out. So you'll slowly slide your foot back and forth, engaging that knee, getting a full stretch, and increasing flexibility in that knee joint. That can focus on that left leg is called straight leg raises, and we're using a blanket just to keep assisted to help pull your leg up. You don't need to use a blanket, but it'll help pull the leg farther up and give you an increased range of motion. What this is doing is you're activating your hip flexors and your quads at the same time, tightening it up and strengthening that for more mobility within the knees and the hips. You can go slow and controlled once you get a little better at it. Pull as far as you can upwards towards your face. As we can see, she's very flexible and doesn't see like this is a problem for her. But this will definitely help with the quadricep strength and hip flexors. These next couple exercises will be focusing on the right leg, which is the post-op leg. And this first exercise is going to be a hip abduction, a abduction, where we are with resistance. So that's where this green band comes in handy. And the challenge with this is try not to let the hip rotate out because that's aiming at a completely different muscle group. So aims with this is to stay nice and tall, have a balanced portion if you need it, and to swing your right leg straight out while trying to balance on the left leg without rotating your hips externally, keeping it nice and straight. Straight leg out and back in. So normally we do about 5 to 10 of those, and then we'd switch and focus on a little bit of hip extension. So we move our balance source here, and this time the leg is going to go straight back. Still main focal points, keep our posture nice and tall. Shoulders back, back flat, keeping that natural curve of the spine. Slowly kicking out with our right leg still, without leaning forward, staying nice and tall. Try to keep your leg as straight as possible without giving a little bit of bend. Bending. Straight out. We can see that her hip mobility is not the greatest, so that's why we're working on this. Perfect. Our next exercise is going to be a hamstring curl again for that right leg, that post-op leg with resistance. Bands can vary, so if this is too easy, obviously go up to a higher band or add some type of weight. But basically all this is doing is we are sitting straight with that good posture. A key to this, sit kind of closer to the edge of the chair so you have more range to pull back that quad. And you're just going slowly in and out with that right leg. Really tightening at the the hamstrings. Normally do about 15 to 20. And if that begins to be too easy, we would either add another band or get a higher resistance band. Our last exercise for that right leg is going to be a little bit of knee extension. So again, with the band, you see the anchor is at this end, tied to the ankle. Slowly bend your leg straight out and back in. Getting that more strengthening in that quad muscle as well as knee flexibility. Just as the hamstring curls, this will be about 15 to 20 times. Encouraged to do all these exercises twice daily. Again, if this becomes too easy, maybe try adding a higher resistance band or some type of ankle weight, something to push you a little harder. Moving on to the exercises for both legs, we start out with a tandem balance. Her balance specifically is a little skewed because she's had a full ankle reconstruction on the right and is waiting for one on the left. So her balance is not as great as we hope it to be. However, if you have a patient like this, you can simply use a stable surface in which they can catch themselves, slight taps to keep their balance. But really all this is doing is focusing on the balance and proprioception, things of that nature. You could try to do 30 seconds tandem. We can also switch to 1 foot at a time. Try not to hold on. 30 seconds of that, and then as we reach 30 seconds, switch feet. Do the same thing on the other side. Good. Next exercise is called wall slide. So main focus with this, make sure your shoulders are back straight against the wall and making sure that our knees are not going past our toes. So at this angle you can see, check to see that the knee is in straight alignment with those toes. With this is really just working on strength in our range of motion with our knees, working on our hamstrings and our glutes, and just an assisted way to do a squat, basically. We'll do about 10 to 15 of these, making sure that our knees are not going outward or over our toes. Next exercise we have is a seated clamshell with resistance. Again, if the resistance seems too little, maybe try a higher resistive band. But basically you're going to sit with your feet shoulder width apart, make sure our posture is straight, and we're just slowly externally rotating our knees outward and bringing them back together. This muscle area group that this is really targeting is that glute medius, which is severely underworked in most cases. Again, with this, about 10 to 15 times, roughly twice a day. You can also focus on one leg while laying on your side while doing this and lifting up. It's okay, don't worry about it. But this is a seated version of the one where you lay on your side and rotate out. Our last exercise is called bridging, and what this is focusing on is really that the glute muscle region and the hamstring. So you're going to lay on a flat surface, knees bent, feet on the ground. You can use your arms as a help or a support, but all you're going to do is you're going to lift your hips to the sky, hold for 5 seconds, 2, 1, and back down, and up again. Hold, and back down, And we'll do this repeatedly for probably about 10 times. Ideally, we'd like to hold for 10 seconds at the top, but if that's not beneficial, or not beneficial, but if that is too hard for the patient, then lower the count to a lesser time. Good.
And that concludes my exercise program for the knee osteoarthritis. I hope you enjoyed. I wanted to give a special thank you to my mother for being a trooper through it all. Thank you.